Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Disco Kitty, the crappy Cricut crafter. Yes, today we're going to do a Cricut craft, and if you were watching last week, you probably saw this one coming, because as someone who hyper-focuses on something when I figure something out and I have to get it done right then and there, I actually finished this project the same week that I finished the acorn. So it's basically going to be the same thing, so just a warning, but this time it's going to be a pumpkin, and this time I'm going to draw it from scratch, so I'm going to do it all on my own from beginning to end. Let's just get right into it. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the pumpkin. I have had a lot of practice recently drawing pumpkins, and I'm still gonna do it all wrong, especially when I come to the stem. Ugh. I just can't decide what I want either. It's like, do I want this and this, or do I want those, or do I... Oh, no, don't make that stem, don't make that stem! We're doing this so that each side is exactly the same, so that they can be glued to each other half and half, you'll see at the end. So that stem right there is going to be the worst stem ever, and luckily I'm going to realize that before I start actually like doing anything with it. Here I was just, what I was originally going to do was I was going to have, you know, a single background piece that had the stem, and then I was going to make a top piece that has all the little holes in it so you can see the color underneath, and then I was just gonna stick a little stem on top. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, the stems didn't really stick to each other that good when I was doing the acorn. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. So this is supposed to be a sunburst, and later, while I'm making more little tiny circles, I will realize that I can take my circular brush that I'm using right now, and I can make it really, really big, and just have a nice, clean circle. But no, all of those little circles, and yes, I did skip ahead a little bit because I had actually walked away from my iPad while it was recording, and it went to sleep, so it stopped recording, and I forgot to make it record again, so you didn't get to see me make all the little tiny circles, but this is how I did them. And then I had an epiphany and said, oh, I can just make the brush the size circle that I want. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but now that I have thought of it, hopefully I will continue to do it that way. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's working out pretty well. We're making all of these white spots now invisible, and that way they will be holes in that particular layer and not colors, because we don't want this to be a print and cut. We want it to be just a cut and cut, or we want it to be a crease and cut, just like last week with the acorn. We're going to do a bunch of creasy, and then a lot of cut. But, you know, we'll get to that when we get to it. Here is where I think I finally... Yes, look, there it goes. I finally realized that it needs to be the exact same on both sides so that it will, you know, be able to be glued together and not be all kind of weird. And as we can see, I have no idea what the masking does. What I was really hoping was that I could mask out a layer below and then color on a layer on top, but that didn't work. That was me looking for little tiny holes to try to fix them, because I did find one, but otherwise I think that it's working out pretty well. Eventually, what I'm finally going to do is I'm going to duplicate the orange layer after I try doing one more time with this stupidness. Okay, I've duplicated the orange layer. I've made it brown, and I'm going to put the brown on the bottom, and I'm going to just erase the stalk on the orange one as close to the black as I can get it so that they layer nicely. here we are bringing them into design space so that I can layer them up and put them all together, and I will change that black to red. I should have left it black, but you know, hindsight's 2020, right? So here we go. We're doing some cutting, and we're doing some creasing, and we're taking it off, and I have a nice sharp blade, though like I said, I probably didn't really need the nice sharp blade. It just really didn't like how thick the glitter paper was, and I should have used a different setting to cut it. But here, it's working very, very well. Just cut, 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 cut. Makes me very happy. Especially after last week. I did not want a repeat of last week, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do it again. While I was thinking about it, while I was remembering it, while I knew what I needed to do differently. So, yeah. Lots of cut, 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 cut. But yeah, I think this one worked out a heck of a lot better than last week's. What do you guys think so far? What colors would you have used? How would you have done it differently? I am going to fold all of these first because I don't want to try to fold them when they're all together for reasons like this. This one, and it's a very red orange, isn't it? It's the reason why it doesn't stand out against the shiny red. Anyways, the orange, or it is red. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying, just ignore me. Anyways, this was very hard to fold because that little tiny bit in the center, and the red was very hard to fold because it didn't crease them all in quite the right spot. So I had to force the crease to be in a slightly different spot than it wanted to be, but that only was on half of them. So that was definitely a machine issue. Whatever, I'm not gonna worry about it because it's done and it looks cool. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have used the red because it doesn't have enough contrast on the top or underneath the shiny orange. That, I don't know. I thought about maybe I should have used yellow, and I mentioned that to somebody and they were like, I don't know, because the orange shines gold in the right light. So would the yellow have showed up under the gold? I don't know. But here we are. And I think it's working really well. What do y'all think? Certainly a lot better than last week's. I think this worked out really, really well. And so this is the last piece. So I'm actually going to glue up both sides. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. And then we'll put them all together and it spins and it spins. And it's almost like a dreidel, right? It's a spin. But I think it worked really well, and I did end up using all 8 pieces. It probably could have used 10, I'll say that again later, but I think it came out really, really well. Definitely wasn't going to be able to use 6 with how wide it was. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Well, I think that came out really well. It certainly was a heck of a lot less frustrating than last week, and here are the reasons why. I had a sharp blade. And I had different papers, so I used instead of using a glitter paper, I used a metallic paper, and I think that made a really big difference. I also didn't put the glitter in the middle, I put it on the front, so, you know, what do you think? What colors would you have used? How would you have done it differently? I feel like the red is a bad choice with this particular orange because there really isn't a lot of contrast there, so it doesn't pop. It looks nice, but it doesn't really go, boom, this is what I am. But you know what? Overall, I think it's pretty good. It was a heck of a lot less frustrating. It actually only took me like 2 hours to do the whole thing. So yeah, what do you think? I think this one came out really, really well, and I did use all 8 pieces for this as opposed to last time where I only used 6, and then I just kind of tacked up 2 in my front, you know, on my front door window because why not? I thought about using only 6 with this one, but because it's so much wider, it really needed all 8. It probably could have even gone so far as to use 10. What do you think? What would you have done differently? How do you like this one in comparison with the acorn that I found on Design Space? I mean, I took a lot of the ideas, like the sunburst and stuff like that, and I did them on my own. But like I said, this one I drew all myself, whereas the acorn I found on Design Space, already figured out, pre-done, and ready to go. So, what do you think? What would you have done differently? And I think that the stick glue worked a lot better with this because it wasn't trying to stick to glitter. So all the pieces are stuck down like they're supposed to be. They're still not quite cured yet, but when they are, this is going to be, pretty solid, I think. But we'll see what happens. With all that being said and done, thank you so much for visiting, and I'll see you next week. Stay safe. Ooh. Oh, he's so big. Oh. Say hello to the people. Mm.